you know, elkies would take the occasional set, but it was definitely favored more towards ZeeBee. And definitely looking this season at the online events, it has favored him as well. And it looks like they're going to be going their two standard mains. We're seeing the Kragg against the Maypul. Bio, talk to me about this matchup.
So it's really interesting that he chooses to go Kragg because we've seen him go Malo first against every single opponent here. Although I will say, Kragg is very good at disrupting what Maypul wants to do. Maypul's a very, very fast character, and Kragg just puts up this wall around him that says, no, you're not allowed in here. So we're starting to see that already. Like, he is just controlling that center stage, finally ends up whiffing, but elkies not able to capitalize too much of that, and the first stock going ZeeBee's way here.
Yeah, and like that's the thing, that short period of time that ZeeBee controlled the stage, racking up 90% onto elkies. From there, it was just forward air, right?
Yeah. And right immediately, this is the big adaptation we've seen from elkies this tournament, is that they're playing much more passive. They're actually starting, you know, camp around that Lily, start to say, all right, I'm the fastest character in the game, therefore if you approach me, I'm going to whiff punish anything that you do. And that works pretty well against Kragg, but if you give him the opening that he needs, 60% unanswered, this stock is getting more and further away from elkies here.
Yeah, ZeeBee waiting out that parry in the corner, and oh, beautiful tech onto that rock is going to give elkies just a little bit more life, but ZeeBee has already lapped her. And look at that, stepping away from the Lily, carefully getting rid of it with a parry, and catching elkies recover with that down strong. ZeeBee up 2 stocks now.
This is clinical right now from ZeeBee, just covering every single option.
Oh!
Jumps off stage with the wrong down B, calls out the side B recovery from elkies, saying you're going to be here right now. Even if you miss, that's still fine because you can jump back on. You have the 2-stock lead to work with. But the confidence from ZeeBee to go for that is insane. What a way to open up this top 8.
He loves going for that. He calls that the Elden Ring. Because if you played Elden Ring, jump heavy attack, that's your bread and butter for melee classes. And he's getting, like, that was a 3-stock.
Yes.
Honestly. And at that point, like, I know elkies absolutely a Maypul main, but I have seen Zetterburn come out from her in the past, as well as her own Kragg. So it's good to see her try to stick with the Maypul and go to a bigger stage and maybe try that slow down style with the Lily, right?
Yeah, the thing that I think she's struggling with right now is that rock. Like, ZeeBee puts out the rock, and that will block all of the seeds, that will block like some of the range pressure, and it's something you have to deal with. And you saw, like, she tried to break the rock and launch the shards over at ZeeBee, but he just carried it back, and elkies was not ready for that. So ZeeBee's totally fine to play the long game.
I mean, I've noticed, especially with the top level Kraggs, trying to like outplay with the rock when they've played with the rock every single game of their life, right? They're beat you with so much experience right there, taking off his own rock and immediately nairing.
This is such an important moment right here. Like, both at kill percent. You see elkies getting a little bit anxious. Sure, break cancel the rock. Go for it, but that doesn't actually do much. It just gives ZeeBee the ability to pick up another one, put even more pressure on you. And yeah, she's just not comfortable dealing with that rock on her side of the stage.
I think the idea with that breaking the rock was that she wanted to approach while ZeeBee was pulling the next one, but ZeeBee was way too far and you knew it.
ZeeBee, more so than any Kragg I've seen, is perfectly content to go on that top platform. But the call out from elkies, that down B actually doesn't go directly underneath. It goes onto the next platform over. So elkies going underneath ZeeBee, getting the uppercut, getting that first stock.
And that's something that shows like great player awareness, right? Because that's one of ZeeBee's favorite minigames, is sitting up on those platforms. He knows the spacing that will cause the spikes to either go down to the ground floor or not. And he counts on his opponent not being as confident to really mix them up.
I'm a little worried for elkies here because, like, she's finding the openings, but, like, she's just dropping these confirms. So we see a really big percent lead right here.
Outranging the shenanigans! Go on.
That's almost like the day one for Kragg at this point, is you go on pillar like, all right, I'm going to throw it enough strong. You're going to run into it. But elkies calls that out, and Kragg extending his hurt box there means that she gets this beautiful position.
And I think that could even catch the up airs as well, right? Because that's one thing that ZeeBee really does love doing, fortifying that ledge and catching you for being too aggressive. But LP's onto it and gets the stock lead for the first time this set.
And can she hold it? You have to be so defensive right now. But you're able to do that as Maypul. Like, if she can get into that mindset again of, all right, I have stage control, I have the lead, I can just wait center here. It's going to work out very well, but not opting for that. She wants to build more damage. She wants to go in. You can see it.
She's fighting against that impulse, though. Oh, and air dodges away to not get caught. You know, the fact that it broke the rock was good just because that way, like, ZeeBee won't be able to use it to tech off in air. Oh, and yeah, elkies staying so evasive, just trying to avoid being in that spacing for the up airs and still capitalizing on these parries, capitalizing on that down special as well.
And right now, like, we see the stage coming into full effect. They took an up air at like 140, still surviving that, and able to get so much more percent off of it too. 90% on ZeeBee. Even if he gets the stock, he still has so much work to do.
I have never seen elkies play this reserved in my life. Like,
it's what you need to do, because
yes.
ZeeBee's the type of player who wants you to get impatient, wants you to run it. You see, like, he's throwing out those nairs, trying to call it some kind of approach, but elkies isn't biting anymore.
And I love that elkies is using that mid-height platform as shelter from the down special. There's no way those rock shards are going to appear down there. That up strong's not quite going to do it, but this is now 130% on Kragg. elkies can potentially two-stock here.
At the same time, Kragg is absolutely the type of character we saw in that game 1 that could take a stock super early on. And because they have this weight to them on this large of a stage, you have to get the KO.
Oh, and here we go. It might actually happen again.
Question, can you find it? Just jumps off stage, raw uppercut, and we are 1-1 here.
Yeah, catches ZeeBee taking off the boulder, off the rock, and saying, you're going to try to come back on stage immediately afterwards, catch the uppercut, right? elkies evening it up very, very well, and I am loving seeing her ability to really pull back when she has the lead, because her reputation in the community is as a very chaotic Maypul, right?
Yes.
And if you have the ability to flip between, I'm going to play calm, calculated, and like play to my strength, right, in this matchup, versus here's some wild stuff, right?
Yeah. She was primarily known as being an online warrior who would just like do random options that you're not expecting. So seeing this adaptation into, you know, calculated play is amazing. And, you know, it's the reason she got here. It's the reason she made this top 8. We're seeing it here. So, game 3, go into the classic flat stage. This actually works in both of their favor, because Kragg has these long, drawn-out stage combos with dash attack forward tilt. But not being able to land against Maypul, not having any platforms to escape from, that's actually pretty tough. So, I feel like this is a more neutral stage for this third game.
I think ZeeBee's motivation is because elkies is able to just hide under that platform versus the down specials, right? And I think ZeeBee wants to force her to engage a little bit more with that space control, but... I
think the problem there is, like, there's no platforms for you to go up onto. Sure, you can make your own with the pillar, but, like, that's breakable.
Yeah, no, it's absolutely true, right? I absolutely see this as a risky pick.
Oh my god, the scramble situation. No one wants to lose that first stock. Definitely in favor of ZeeBee here. That down tilt gets
beautiful,
back on.
Great tech, and right afterwards, though, ZeeBee ready to punish it and get the kill.
And like that is what defines high-level play. Sure, you're gonna get some tech setups, but if you're able to cover it afterwards, that's the most important thing.
Right. It's honestly what you see at top level is they pick an option that has such fast recovery, expecting the tech, so they can punish the tech.
So right now, elkies still down, but not the worst situation. Has that Lily center stage that ZeeBee's actually not doing anything about. You see him trying to side B to pull ZeeBee into the Lily, get a long damaging combo. But ZeeBee's just kind of ignoring it, which is very weird to see, because look at that pressure that it exerts.
I'm just looking at ZeeBee trying to pull all these like pillars and to boost elkies up, and elkies is not falling for any of them.
Finally getting the carry, but immediately goes in for a nair, and it doesn't matter if you have iframes, you can still get parried yourself. So elkies is more than happy to play that game, more than happy to wait for this Lily, and this could be a kill right here, but no! Good DI to drift out of the up air from ZeeBee, getting the counter attack, that forward air, closing out the second stock.
Still extremely close. Yeah, ZeeBee gonna go off stage to try to wall jump, set up a pillar.
So has it, yeah.
Yeah, and elkies waiting for the pillar to appear before down airing so that the roof can show up.
And this is the thing about ZeeBee. More than any other Kragg, that side of the stage, if he gets the pillar set up there, that is his home.
And like you were mentioning how ZeeBee really wants to frustrate people, and I think that's where he does the most mental damage, right? Just like, look at me, wave land off the platform to refresh my pillar, and then I'm going to take as much time off there as possible.
Yeah, for those who don't know, he went for those who don't know, whenever Kragg touches the stage again, he can put up another pillar. So he has to touch again. But ZeeBee is so good about slipping back on in the weirdest of ways that he can get another pillar, just go right back down there.
Ooh, that up air is going to do it. Yeah, ZeeBee living up to 198% on that stage, but winning very solidly. Not going to be caught off stage there, right? The edge play still posing that question. Because the part of the thing that makes that so challenging is if you stay too far away so you can't get up aired or up strong, right, that allows ZeeBee to ledge dash off and refresh pillar. If you stay close enough, then he can potentially jump in and hit you with something. And trying to thread that needle can be pretty challenging, yep.
It's especially bad if you're behind. Because if you're ahead, you could say just, all right, sure, wait off stage. I'm fine here. But elkiies was the one pressure to make that comeback. And so you saw like they had to go for some kind of edge guard.
We're getting Air Armada as elkiies counterpick. I know famously this is one of ZeeBee's favorite stages.
Yeah, for that reason right there, those down Bs on the top platform. But at the same time, that only really works if you try to approach ZeeBee up there. If you just kind of wait center stage, those down Bs don't really put up that much pressure. But if you do that,
ooh, yeah,
you jump right in there. That is the danger zone.
Right, but it looks like elkiies has cleaned up that spacing just on that second approach. Because it looks like when elkiies does want to go after ZeeBee, she knows to approach from straight below in those cases. Up air is going to close out that stock.
Finally seeing that connect. We saw in that last game, one of the big reasons that elkiies was having trouble killing is that ZeeBee was just DIing out of those up air setups.
I think part of the benefit, too, of this smaller blast zone stage is it makes DIing out of those setups that much scarier, right?
So much damage built up here.
And that's it.
Yeah, that nair is the main thing you want to look out for. Like, that leads into up air, that leads into forward air, that leads into up smash. And if you're elkiies, that is what you wait for. But here we are.
The staring contest. I hear the crowd cheer as that happens. The up air is going to try to get the second one, but ZeeBee jumps out.
And that back air was so important. Being able to fall through the up air attempts, holding on to this stock as Kragg.
Whoa, that was so smart by ZeeBee, setting up the rock just in case.
That pillar was actually below the stage, but no, ZeeBee managed to get back on. Has another pillar if he needs it. But for now, just going to wait. And that's the thing is, elkiies can wait, but just throws out the raw forward smash, but able to cover herself with Lily, able to close out the second stock. And what we thought was going to be a good pick for ZeeBee here, we're starting to see why elkiies chose this stage.
Because, I mean, I think she's very aware of ZeeBee's reputation here, right? Like, that one time where she jumped into the spikes was very clearly an aberration. She's not doing that again.
Yeah, you see the respect there. Like, all right, I'm not in the right position. I'm just going to back off here. But that nair. That nair, especially on that top platform, nair up smash will kill at this percent.
Down strong. Oh, gets the reseed.
Oh.
Looking for something spicy. Gets the falling up air into the uppercut. And with that, evened up 2-2 apiece. elkiies so close to making it even further into top 8.
This would be an insane upset on a list of insane upsets that she's had to get here. That hit fall up air into up B, so well executed, and we're game 5 here in our first set of the day.
Where do you think ZeeBee goes here?
I mean, I feel like Truple is actually a really good stage for him here. If I were to guess, because that has the side plats for the down B cheese. It has a lot of, nair up smash potential on that top plat. It's pretty high up. But the ban coming out, Tower of Heaven is also very similar. Like this, any stage with platforms on the side, ZeeBee likes.
I think the ban on Truple, though, is really good because if we're thinking about refreshing pillar when ZeeBee has the lead, it's easier to mix up where he might do that there too, right?
Yeah, and so the main thing to look out for is we saw already, that top platform, he goes up there, he goes for the down B. And it's much harder to approach that because the spikes do go directly underneath the platform. So you have to go at like a diagonal angle from way in advance, and you see this pressure already.
And it's because like there's that important gap right between them. I have to already start holding my breath because Maypul's at 74.
Yeah, no, this is kill percent. If she DI'd in there, she was dead. Catching the jump in with the forward strong, but no, gets a bit too antsy. This recovery is so important right now.
Okay, going hard for that edge cancel, it looks like, on that top platform, and ZeeBee was ready to pick it off with an up air.
And one thing that we do see a lot is elkiies tends to try and launch the shards from Kragg's rock back into Kragg, but if they parry it and you have them wrapped, that mark goes away. So she has to be so careful and think so critically about that. Because having that wrap is her KO condition.
Yeah, and it's also just like the last lifeline of recovery too. Oh,
should be a stock, yeah.
Yep. Not too far behind, only 32%. And that's the thing, right? That respawn invincibility is a brief moment where you just don't have to worry about Lily on the approach.
Oh, that parry.
And I love that short hop for the back air too, because it sets off Lily on your way to go ahead and get that hit.
No!
Oh,
the misinput off the side.
Oh, that's so tragic. A full stock lead for ZeeBee. This is exactly the sort of position where ZeeBee likes playing on that side pillar.
And you can't go for the double dunk there because you have one stock to work with. But getting a lot of damage, going for the reseed. It's just one hit can build so much percent for Kragg. That's what's so terrifying about the character, is they find a nair, and then suddenly you're at 60.
Oh boy. Oh, but ZeeBee going on for something a little bit spicy there. Oh, and just as it started, it ends. ZeeBee finding his Elden Ring against elkiies, closing out the set 3-2. Still an incredible performance by elkiies to get here in one of the most stacked rivals brackets. But ZeeBee stays alive and moves on to loser semis.